when they do, it's very shocking. So you could see the reaction. So I love the reaction. So that's a stereotype, that pastors are not supposed to come where it's happening. There's nothing like that. Me, if I wake up and I say I want to go and listen to soul now, I move and I go and listen to that still. So. Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's Lifestyle Thursday, and today I want to talk about the stereotypes that are surrounding pastors, and that can be a series, but let me just get started with what I wanted to say for today. So I said earlier, I think recently, that my friend passed on, and then everybody was going to the wake, but the wake was the hang. First of all, the hang, I was like so excited about it because I was like, to gather these people. Those are my friends, my friends, the people I grew up with. Some we haven't seen each other for so long. We've parted ways. People are doing different things in life. And I was actually thinking about that it's a good thing, when in the ecosystem of things and the way God does things, you need everyone. You need those who are involved in media, business people, you need people who are involved in governance and government, you need people who are involved in education, we need people who are called into families, we need people who are called into the marketplace, and we need people who are called into religion, church, and ministry. Hallelujah, that's where I come in, but I fit into all the others. So I actually think it's actually natural. There's nothing, it's okay if people are doing what they're called to do. So it's amazing that getting that mix of people in one room, it could have been a hard fit, but here we were, all of us together, and everyone was partying. And then I could tell at the church, the way people were telling me, "Hey, are you coming, Pastor Angie? Are you coming, Pastor Angie?" Was like, now you, with all your, because they always say pastors are judgmental, or people of God are judgmental, but I really don't think so. But it's a story for another day. It's just the way we do things, and we're all learning. So I could just tell the way I was being invited to this week that it's like, you better show up and turn up, because me, I was the party. I don't even know what to call myself. What? I loved to party, and I still think it's still in me. It's just that now there's a different calling. So I knew I had to go. And so I love whenever I go into like a club or a party setup. First of all, it's playing my favorite music. Hey, soul. Hey, that soul, even it engages your heart, spirit. I can even start dancing now. Anyway, it's like, wow, So I always have so whenever I walk into a club, guys are like, Allah, the pastor has come in. And now they know I'm Pastor Angie, and it unsettles me when my peers call me Pastor Angie, because first I was always known as Juicy, Angie, when they say Pastor Angie, it's like I shtuck her, because these are my pals. So no, there are people who call me Pastor Angie, but when they do, it's very shocking. So you could see the reaction. So I love the reaction. So that's a stereotype, that pastors are not supposed to come where it's happening. There's nothing like that. Me, if I wake up and I say I want to go and listen to soul now, I move and I go and listen to that still. So stop. Now who's being judgmental, Who has the stereotype about where I'm supposed to be and where I'm not supposed to be? And so I went, and I could see the faces in people. Hey, guys were like, "Allah, kwani the pastor amepoteza njia. She's lost." I'm not lost. I came here to celebrate my friend, and this is how you guys are celebrating her, and this is how even we used to hug. So let's do this thing. So, because I found my sister, I was like, hey, people are out of their element. I think sometimes people need an opportunity to, especially when we are our age now, we need an opportunity to get down, because guys have responsibilities, and maybe we just don't party the way that we used to. And I'm telling you, we used to party. Hey, me, my life. Party was my name, and it was such an enjoyable time. I'll never regret that time. I had an absolutely amazing time. Free spirits. We'd read hard, do school hard, and then party hard as well. And I like that. I've always applied that to life. When I do something, I do it to the fullest, So anyway, so that's a stereotype that we have. Please don't feel that there are places that pastors need to be and not to be. We're everywhere. We're human beings. And if we look at the demarcation of society, you are called into media, you're called into business, you're called into governance. I'm called into religion, church, and ministry. And mine is even vaster, because I'm called still into that media, still that governance, still that business. But I'm just playing a role out of the 7 spheres of influence that God has demarcated society, or the world has demarcated society. So there's nothing wrong with me being where I need to be. And I think also then maybe, but that's a conversation I guess for another day. I said this could be a series. Maybe then it would stop people from pretending, because be where you want to be, drink what you want to drink. I'm not encouraging people to become drunkards. No, I think the whole idea, first of all, everyone knows that Jesus turned water into wine. That was his first miracle at the wedding of Cana. But I don't think the problem is the wine. It's what we do when we consume the wine. So you have to have some intelligence about self, because I'm always saying that. I'm saying there are countries in the whole world, like France, where people have a glass of wine, I think even at lunchtime, and they have a glass of wine in the evening, but they're not consumed by the alcohol. They have control of their 1 or 2 glasses of wine, So it's about knowing self, knowing why you do what you do. I remember also Paul, that comes into mind when he said, you might do something that will stumble somebody else, so I don't want to stumble anyone. But there's a place and a time and a season for everything. So I think the whole idea was, don't have stereotypes. If drinking is not agreeing with you and you overdo it and it's not something that's good for you, then stop. And it's a choice. It's not being forced to drink. It's your choice. If you want to go, or I want to go sit and listen to some music or go to a club, I'm allowed to do that. You can't tell me what I can and what I cannot do. So I was just the stereotypes. That was my story. My story was the faces of the people. Some people were so happy, so relaxed. Others were giving me hugs. Others were giving me prayer points. Others were just happy that I was there. We partied, we danced, we got down, and I went home, and it was so much fun, And it's just the next day, actually, I was thinking, hey, God is important. I had a very important meeting the next day, and I had to be there early. Hey, if I had not been there early, even as would have closed down the club with the people who were closing it down, because it's just fun, and it's not something that I do all the time. And I hope I haven't served to confuse you. But I hope I have served to say that let's not have stereotypes, and especially about pastors. And then I think it will allow them, it will give them the freedom to be. And maybe I'll say this, and I need to do also a series on that, is that sometimes, and especially in this nation, we put our leaders on a pedestal where it's like they're almost not normal. So nothing can challenge them. They don't have any challenges. Their lives should be perfect. They should have all the wisdom in the world. They should know what to do. It's too much. There's too much pressure on leaders. And maybe I'll also speak to leaders to show the human side of self. I think also recently with the passing of Bob Collymore, I think that's one thing he did. He really showed us himself, things that people would hide. He didn't hide. He didn't hide that he was sick. He didn't hide what he was suffering from. He didn't try to conjure up a story. He just was, And that is so, so important, I think. In different levels of leadership. And maybe I'm not just speaking to pastors, but I'm speaking to leaders out there. First, we need to cut each other some slack. Number 2, we've got to take people off the pedestal that we've put them on. We've got to stop giving people too much pressure. And we've got to understand we're just human. I'll end by laughing. So what I say, let's say I had to go, God had given me an assignment to go to some club that some really now serious club. People will see you going there. Or maybe even that day when they saw me, they were like, so we've always told you. We've always told you this pastor is questionable. Hey, we have told you this, so you cannot trust that. You see now, you start creating stories about people and you don't even know why they are where they are. And it reminds me of this certain minister who, his assignment was to go into a nightclub where that was frequented by a lot of prostitutes. And his work was, and I loved it. I love the way God gives assignments. His work was, he'd say to the prostitute or the call girl, how much and for how long. And then he'd put that money on the table. And then he'd say, I bought your time. Then you'd have to sit. Then he tells you about Christ. And he did that sufficiently to at least I know one person who actually got born again, is now a minister of God's word, doing amazing things and actually now rescuing other women from prostitution. And you see, she's believable because she was there. So she tells them what happened. But you see, if somebody had seen that man walking into that particular club, you start your stories. Hey, you see? Why was he there? And he's there, he's on assignment. And God has provided for him and he's bought their time and he's telling them about God. And lives were turned around. Like this particular friend of mine, her life was completely turned around by just those conversations with this particular man. So I think allow people to be, and it's for everyone, allow people to be and allow people to express themselves in the way that they want to express themselves. But also let's understand that there's a normalcy that when you put too much pressure on me as a leader, that I'm not able to live up to. God bless and take care and see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.